Hello everybody. I'm just getting ready to do an oil change on my 2009 Volvo here, my high mileage hero with 260,000 miles on it. But I figured it's time for an update on this one. This is my 2015 Volvo. If you go back to January last year, a year and a half ago now, I had a video that I put out because I had to have the pistons replaced in this car. Pistons, yeah, pistons. This one was like a lot of cars, especially some European cars. I think they got hit the hardest from that time frame, about 2011, 2012, up to about 2015, 2016. They had low tension oil rings in them to try to drive up your mile per gallon, your fuel economy, and so forth. That consisted of on your piston, you've got a slot, like on the side of the piston, it would be like a cavity like this, goes all the way around the piston. And you've got your oil control ring on the very bottom of the three piston rings. You got two compression rings and an oil control ring. Well, your typical oil control ring is a three-piece design with small rings top and bottom that press against the cylinder wall, and between them is a zigzag piece that helps scrape that oil off of the cylinder wall. And then your cross-hatching helps maintain and hold a specific amount of oil on the cylinder walls so that your compression rings have something to glide against that has oil. It's worked remarkably well for a very long, like half a century now. But in an effort to try to get greater fuel economy, a few manufacturers went to a single piece design that had that top and bottom section with little grooves in the middle that had bars holding, connecting your top and bottom section to make it one ring. And they did not work too well. They weren't bad at first, but the problem is, over time, carbon will naturally build up in the rings. In the current ring designs, it's kind of sort of able to clear that out, especially when you put your foot into it and get those things hot. But with these tiny, tiny little slots on this new oil ring, low tension design, those slots got clogged up very easily. So around 75, 80,000 miles generally, you would notice maybe your car even starts smoking sometimes in the worst cases, but it would start guzzling oil. Sometimes as much as a quart every 500 miles. And the problem with that was, your car's not supposed to, you're not supposed to have to put a quart of oil in your car for 500 miles. Mine had gotten to the point at 88,000 miles or so that I could not make it on I was doing normally a 5,000 mile oil change, and I had to drop down to a 3,000 mile oil change. And even so, by that point, I was having to add oil. It would tell me low oil, stopping at a quart of oil. So I'd have to keep a quart with me, and that just gets worse and worse. Volvo, like some other manufacturers, had a recall. They didn't advertise it too well, but I did find out about it, where you can have the car tested to ensure, confirm that it does have the oil consumption issues, and they'll replace the pistons, the whole piston, under warranty. And I think the replacement pistons are completely different with a different ring design, because they pretty much everybody abandoned that, and I think went back to a standard ring design. So they put new pistons in this. Now on that video, I wasn't crazy about it. I had issues at first. They fixed those. It was just a loose charge pipe or something like that. But it made the engine really buzzy, and it vibrated, and I didn't like it. Here it is a year later. So far, I have not had any more oil consumption issues. I've put 15, almost exactly. I mean, like, we're talking 34 miles away from 15,000 miles exactly on this car. I have had no additional issues with it. I haven't had any troubles with the engine. And I decided, you know what? I don't like this buzziness that it imparted to the engine. It was just velvety smooth prior. Now it has that rough vibration. It still does to this day. At an idle, and especially when you start accelerating up through about that 1500 to 3000 RPM range, you feel that buzz of the engine. You never felt that before. So it is something because of the way these pistons work in this engine. I don't know if it's a different compression ratio. I don't know if it's imbalance because the piston design is different or what, but you can feel it because these engines, I don't think were designed to have those particular pistons in them. So that makes sense. My question is, is it going to affect the longevity of the car? So far, so good. I have 100,500 miles on it. Just about ready for an oil change on this one too, actually. I think I got about 500 miles to go. I think it was 1,000 was my next oil change. And I did go back to using, instead of the 5W30 Castrol, there is a Euro spec 0W20 oil specific for this Volvo. You have to get the oil with the specification for this exact car, which means I have to order it. I get mine from FCP Euro. I'll show you the oil here. This is the oil. You can get a complete oil change kit that has a OE quality filter. I think it's a Hengst filter, and if they're not the ones that make the OE filters, they're super nice quality. But it's liquid moly. It's a German motor oil. But this is what you have to have right here. This Volvo specific spec for these 2-liter engines. Now this is a 0W20, so it is a little bit thinner at full temperature. This is cold starting weight, and this is what it actually thickens up as it runs. And I think this helps with that ring situation. Have not had any issues with it. It gets great gas mileage. I'm pushing 30 miles per gallon when I get I'm driving mostly in town too. So that's really good on a turbocharged 2-cylinder engine, putting out like 260 horsepower. So all in all, the experience hasn't been horrible. I miss the velvety smoothness that this car originally had, but I still love this car. If you're looking to buy a car from this generation, from this year, ask how much oil they have to add to the car. Unfortunately, you can't pull the dipstick on these to look at the oil because these are like a lot of cars. They don't have a dipstick anymore, which I absolutely hate. Give me a dipstick. I'll pay the $10 extra for the car to give me the stupid dipstick. Stop taking this out, car manufacturers. It's an idiotic idea, and it should have never been done to begin with. Rant over slightly. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. Still love the car. No issues with it. If you've had to have the pistons replaced in yours, what has your experience been? Let us know. Do you have one of these cars that you're interested in and you're concerned with the high mileage and it has not had the pistons replaced? There are some things you might be able to do to help ensure that if it's not burning oil yet, it doesn't start. You can use a Valvoline Restore and Protect. It's a brand new type of motor oil that's designed specifically to keep stuff like this from happening. Not only that, but if it's already started, it'll help reverse it. And in the testing so far, it's done a remarkable job at bringing some of these things back to life. Now, Another thing you want to do if you're thinking about getting one of these things that has that issue, boroscope it. Take those spark plugs out, put a scope inside the cylinders to see if you started to have cylinder wall scoring. In the absolute worst case scenarios, that was a possibility. If you have cylinder wall damage, don't touch that car. Run away. Don't even walk, just run. If the cylinder walls look good and it's burning the oil, you can try that restore and protect. I've heard of people pouring B12 Chem Tool in and letting it soak overnight to help release some of that, and then flushing the oil afterwards. There's videos out there on that, but be wary. Volvo is no longer replacing the pistons under warranty. That is over with. So if you find one of these that has not had it, you're on your own. So, but if you do happen to want to do that, you can get kits for it apparently, and it works pretty good. So there you have it. Been a little bit long-winded, but I just wanted to ensure that you knew what what you're in for if you have to go through this. So see you guys later.